I try different ways to communicate with our community, and I think the forum was the most successful. At the BC one, we have 400 people join the forum. So communication is so important, being in touch, working with our people. I think that's what Tai Chi is about. You know, we humans are really, our DNA is geared towards communicating, working in groups, and our achievement comes from having a group of people working together. So I'm really excited the forum was well followed, and we're trying to figure out ways to make it work and make it interesting and helpful for participants. And I really think that's an important part of for the leaders of our vision to be there. And also it happens to be a topic I got very excited about, so I'm really happy to talk about that. Also, I could talk a lot longer, but I'm mindful of having to move on. So I'm assuming, and I'm probably right, most of you has done my Exploring the Depth of Tai Chi for Arthritis. And you know I've done it for 20 years or more. And I think each time I understand it deeper and I get to do it better. And I hope you find the same, you have the same path that you found, that it's a really interesting, intriguing way to explore Tai Chi and to feel your Chi, to convert it, moving it on. You know, that's so simple, but it's so fun and so many layers of that simplicity. So anybody like to say anything or any comments on the forum before I move on to the normal part of the workshop?
I have a question, Paul.
Go ahead.
Okay, in the explanation that you gave for this follow step, push down, sink, deliver. Okay, in the old traditional Sun style videos, and when you see someone doing the Sun 97 or another demonstration, their follow step is always up on their toe. But yet we try to emphasize the ball of the foot, the heel just barely off of the floor. Okay? And we're, they're moving much faster, we're moving much slower. So I'd be interested in knowing your comments about that.
Okay, the speed has nothing to do with touching your toe or touching the ball of the foot. If you tried it, the speed is the same. Fast or slow is nothing to, it's not related to that. The thing to do is to try, if you just touching your toe and deliver your Chi, or push down, sink, deliver your Chi, and feel which way you feel the Chi more, which way you generate more Chi, and then maybe choose what works for you.
I already have. I just have other people ask me that question. I just wondered what your answer would be.
Well, you know what? Mr. Soong, in his photos, I think, he do this. And I changed that because it's better, it's safer, it's better, your Chi flow is better. And I don't have the genius, Mr. Soong, I have huge respect for him. But the best thing comes from group wisdom, and he's not perfect. And definitely some of my ideas will be wrong. Future, there will be more people who bring new and better ideas. But the traditional Chinese idea is the ancestor, the creator is perfect. That's not possible. It's not true. And if we really sure that that's a better way, then I think it's for us to look at it, try it, and look at the evidence and keep it an open mind. So that's my answer. Another word, yeah. I have a feeling Mr. Sung would have somewhere in some of his writings, I think he would sort of subtly imply that, but he didn't directly saying where to touch the ball, the foot or the toe, and he didn't. But he talked about the energies and how to deliver the chi. But thanks, Bill, bring it up. The thing we do for the last 20 odd years, we always traditional people who come up with different challenging. I remember I was in Singapore and this guy who specialized in Sung style and learning from one of the descendants, and he's older and he's been full-time Tai Chi practitioner, teacher all his life. And he challenged me about certain aspects of what I did. And that was a little awkward, he's like obviously has more experience and also knows Chinese culture, read Chinese book as I do. I kind of answer him, because he was older than me, so respectfully, in a similar sort of way, that there is no absolute right or wrong, but there is something that makes sense or not. And when you understand the gist, the theory of it, especially when you have a chance to look at different styles and work and learn from different people, then plus I think my medical training helped me to kind of look at what works. Just because things seem simple doesn't mean it's not profound. And all I can do is I only teach what I really felt and work on, and it works for me before I share that. Lorraine, you want to say something?
Yeah, just a little follow-up there. So I learned Sun style, the 73 with the toe in the ground. But over the years, what I've also discovered is there's a very practical reason to keep the heel down a little bit lower and not have the heel up really high. And it's called Charlie horses, getting knots in the calf. So for a lot of people, it creates that holding that posture for a second creates the muscles tightening up. So from a very practical standpoint, letting the heel relax a little bit more and having the ball of the foot on the ground, no one has ever said that creates Charlie horses. So just a practical reason.
Thank you, Lorraine. I totally agree. That's makes sense. Lorraine, the other Lorraine.
Yes, I agree with what Lorraine Norfolk was saying. I also want to point out, if you try pressing down on the floor gently with the ball of the foot and see how your whole leg feels all the way up to the hip. The activation of the leg muscle and the activation of the hip joint is more effective. Whereas if you touch down, put pressure on the toe, it does not have the same activation. So have a go and you will notice. If you press down on the ball of the foot gently, your whole leg is activated all the way up to the hip joint. And that is what we are talking about, delivering energy, coinciding with the other leg pressing down in a small lunge forward, like a brush tea or something. Okay.
Can I just say something here?
Sure.
Everybody's trying to sell me on this. Trust me, I was sold a long time ago.
Sure.
I don't need the justification. And my justification, the way I explain it, it's my intention. And it's much easier for me to control my intention of what I wanted to do if I am going slowly and if I do press the foot down on the floor a little bit more than just the toe. If I'm on my toe, I'm off balance.
Fair enough.
Thank you. And
I'm
yeah,
satisfied. Thank you so much.
thanks, Bill, for bringing it up. You also brought up a bigger questions, bigger points, is that when people challenge us, what do we do? And I think that's what we're all trying to explain, how we sort of work with that, listening to the incoming force and how to. And I think all this is part of wonderful training for us. We all learn together, interacting with people, learning Tai Chi from that interaction. It's a very rewarding feeling. So with the, I really appreciate you all following the change and I think everybody's here, and I'm right. Anyway, yeah. So thank you for that, and that's good that you do. And we're going to soon. We're going to do the practice of this Tai Chi for arthritis, diabetes, and what was the third one? In the rehab. And I just want to go through the depth of that. And then after that, as you see in my new time lesson plan, when we go back to the workshop site, then we're going to have breakout groups that you do the forms. But that will be in the lesson plan you got yesterday. This update is very, very, very unusual. We break a lot of different grounds. We certainly, one thing we did is I intended, and I'm so glad you all done stage 1. Now I just complete stage 1 for every program. There are total of 12 programs that's actively still there. And I have done stage 1 for all of them. And I felt sort of like a trilogy with the forum. I feel that, wow, this is hopefully is a new step, a new phase for Tai Chi for Health Vision. This gives us a tool to train, work with people over the world, absolutely less cost. And I even consider doing master trainer training via Zoom because, I realize it costs a lot of money, time to come to Australia, and in fact, as you know, as master trainer, senior trainer, when you use Zoom, you can reach so far, and don't think of competition. Think of the world is so huge, and so many people need us. Let's go up there, open ourselves, and get more people to the vision. More people join Tai Chi for health, more healthy, more balanced people, less fighting, less better future for the world. So I think we have a mission here, and so I thought I would use stage 1 that really goes through a lot, and really the things you have to do for people to be qualified. And when they fully understand stage 1, and when they're able to utilize it, then they will be a reasonable teacher, as many of you MTs who done stage 2 told me that you get better prepared participants and they're ready to teach. So I'm hopeful that there are some small programs like Tai Chi for kids, Tai Chi at work. I have every program, I put a lot of my heart and energy in it, and I love to see the less popular, less used program reaching more people, and we get people from different parts, different interests to the vision. So this workshop is sort of a way to also find how it works. And thank you all for doing stage 1. So what I like to do next, well, if you have any questions that you can't wait, please, here's your chance. Otherwise, we'll do practice. I'll count to 3. If nobody talk, I'm going to go practice. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go. We're going to do the warm-up exercises, and I'm going to do just the 3 warm-up exercises. The first one, the neck first. And gently push your chin back. That comes with a bit of visualization. Body upright, looking straight forward, and push against gentle resistance. That's visualization. And the third time. The second one is stretching the spine, and that's a lot to do with visualizing, stretching, feel your spine stretch gently but not stiff. So it's a gentle stretch to 90% of your range of imagination, and stretch your spine, keeping your body upright. Remember to keep your elbows slightly bent, but the joints still strong, all the joints. And the last one coming up. Okay. Now the next is the knees. Loosen your fists and heel first, foot down, and then feel the spiral way of punching forward. Using a dantian spiral back. And heel foot and feel as you spiral from here, your body follow that spiral force. Let's do Tai Chi for Arthritis, part 1 and part 2. And I'm going to turn my back towards you so we have no problem with the direction. Focus. Thank God. Wu Qi first, which is nothing in the mind. Then come to the beings and feel your body. Then we're going to start Tai Chi for Arthritis and part 2. How was that? Okay, so I'd like you to always give yourself a few seconds to prepare, being mindful, and first of all, cleanse your mind. There's nothing, and then you come to the beings, and just run a mental check through your body, and Tai Chi for Arthritis, and part 2 commence. It's interesting to see that if I ask one person to set the rhythm, then everyone seems to be able to be in sync much easier. Whereas we do it together and just, especially in Zoom, the timings is different and people sort of work differently, which is an interesting thing. I guess eventually as a leader in what we do, we need to be clear and we need to have directions. If you ask your group to practice, usually it's nice to have 1 or 2 person to lead, so you get people synchronized. So we all learn how to work with everybody. I can see a lot of depth in Tai Chi. I just wonder how, as you do your Tai Chi, how much were you converting your Qi into the Jing and use it to move on to the next? Most of the time or every now and then? So if the answer is every now and then, that's very good. If the answer is never, then go back and work on the depth of TCA again. And if the answer is always that's not, then you're not looking at the right thing. Nobody can always do that. So, was there any question before we do the next 2 moves together? Okay, you're ready to go. All right, we're going to do, Ronnie, go ahead.
We need to pin the person we're following because all I could see was you on the screen. So if we could pin that person, then I think we could all work together, which would be really helpful.
Okay, yes, we got Pat now. Pat is the owner of this site. So at the moment, I ping myself. So Pat, if you can highlight me when I do demonstration, and when I finish, you can do the gallery view. Then everyone get to see each other. So if you can highlight me now, if you right click over me or make me the host, then I can. Or make Becky the host. Becky can do anything.
If you make me the host, then I can.
Linda's not here anymore.
Yeah,
I
Linda.
didn't know I was still the host because I had turned it over.
Because it's yours. So Pat, if you go to my name, you got it. Good. There we go. All right. Jocelyn has a question.
Go ahead, Jocelyn.
Okay, so if we are following someone,
Me.
they need to be. So when but I mean, like where you were just talking about, we were at different speeds because we weren't following anyone. I was just going to say that if you did the whole gallery view and said so and so is leading, unless they were spotlighted or I pinned them, everyone's too small. I can't do Tai Chi and look at 1,000 squares.
That's okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, we can do that, and then I can do the gallery view because I want to see everybody get the feel of that. That's okay. Let's do Tai Chi for diabetes plus the extension together. Okay, I'm going to do Tai Chi for diabetes plus extension, but I'm not going to do the here and back before the extension. I'm going to skip that because we're just running a little short of time. So is that okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, just follow me. At the when we do the diabetes, when we do the after the kick, I'll move on to the extension, and then finish. Just follow me if you don't know what I mean. Okay, everybody, cleanse your mind. Tai Chi for diabetes commence. So now I'm going to do the extension, stroke and bird's tail. Okay, that's good. I'd like to watch you do that. Could you? We have Pat as the leader. We'll follow Pat's.
Yeah, turn around, Pat.
Cooling down. Tai Chi for diabetes. Again, the Qi to Jing moving on. Here is delivering force as you change. And then moving on, deliver force. And also, I think part of from Tai Chi for rehab, the metaphor, the affirmation, talking to yourself, caring for yourself, sharing positive energy around, and growing your inner strength, hangs on the dantian. I think that's a really good part to incorporate in your diabetes with participants more advanced, but certainly it's good for us. I think waving hands is so nurturing and so powerful. I did mention many times that the great-grandson of Yang style creator, Yang Shaozhong, escaped to Hong Kong and taught my father-in-law, who was my first real Tai Chi teacher. And Yang Shaozhong has great affinity to waving hands. He really felt it's a very powerful movement. And I think I can understand why, as part of delivering energy. It's also the part I don't think he have incorporated too, is the affirmation, the self-compassion talk. We can use that, think of that, would be one way to do. And delivering force with shuttle is pretty obvious. Deliver, convert the chi, move on to the next. And the stroking bird's tail is just wonderful to use. That's really the 4 parts of push hands. So therefore, it's just so appropriate to use it for where you convert your jing and absorb incoming force, redirect. So I think Tai Chi for diabetes, it's a lot of fun. It's a different kinds of fun, and the leisurely time code is different, but the energy is similar. Movement is different, therefore the energy change a bit. So I hope you enjoy playing with that. The next, was there any question before we move site? Okay, we can still have question anytime. Let's move back to the.
Sorry, Paul, did you want to do the rehab as well?
No, I'm going to do that maybe another time because it's 9:30. So I'm trying to keep up to the timetable. Yeah, is that right? And I think it's time we need to move back to a little behind now time. So can we move to the original? Have you all got the link, the link. If you don't, I'm sure Ernie can help you. Or okay, we everybody's here. So in my plan, we're going to divide you into 3 groups. With Janet, Pat, and Rani. And then what I'd like you to do, that's one thing we haven't done yet, is a quick introduction of yourself when you're in the group, and then practice those 3 programs. Start with Tai Chi for rehabilitation, since we missed that. And then I'll come to each group as we go. Is that okay? Was there any question before we go to your group?
How long will we have? Because we've lost a bit of time.
Sorry?
How long will we have for this section?
Oh yeah, good question. Well, I'm running a bit late. Let's make it about 40 minutes. Is that okay, Becky? Say roughly 40 minutes from now.
40? Okay, yeah, I will make sure I set it. I'm setting these up right now.
I apologize for the echo I have here. I'm on the road, it seems like almost every weekend, and now I'm in Tennessee, not for Tai Chi, but for helping my sister-in-law work on her townhouse. Glad to be here. The most memorable thing I have probably wasn't per se what Paul was looking for, a memorable thing, but it was kind of an eye-opener for me. Like many of you, I really enjoyed Zoom, and it was kind of a challenge to get on Zoom. But now I started doing live workshops. And I did one last weekend in Kansas City. And on Friday for the update and the new people, we had like 35 people. Thank God I had some STs helping. And what really struck me is the end of the workshop, people coming up to me and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much new stuff I learned. And they've been doing Zoom, they've been doing it. So we love Zoom, I love Zoom, but I don't think it's the be all end all we're having. So maybe I need to teach better. We need to figure out a better way to teach Zoom. So it really wasn't, it's for me more of an eye-opener revelation for it. So I just want to share that. And my goal here is really trying to catch up with everybody. Hi everybody. Just never see get together very much. And I'm glad we're doing live workshops, of course, to recertify and just share some of the energy. So I'm glad to be here. And thank you, Ronnie, for picking me first.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, Robin Pender. You need to unmute first, Robin. The famous Zoom word.
There we go. Name's Robin Pender. I recently moved to Hilton Head, South Carolina. I've been kind of out of the loop for 3 years with health issues, but I'm trying to get back into things. And my goal here, well, something memorable. One day I went to Tai Chi class and showed up in a penguin outfit and proceeded to do Tai Chi for arthritis all the way through in my outfit. So there you go.
What fun. And what's your goal today, Robin?
Just to update and connect with everyone again.
Wonderful. Okay, welcome, Robin. Beverly. Yep.
Okay. Now my computer's way over here. Yes, I'm Beverly Roberts. I'm a master trainer, and I live in Gainesville, Florida, which is 2 hours from each of the coasts and 2 hours from the Georgia border and 2 hours from Tampa. I'm really in the middle. Probably the most, other than dealing with Zoom and teaching on Zoom, I think I've learned a tremendous amount about how to do it and how to do it differently, listen differently, actually observe differently also. One of the things that I started just before COVID hit, and I've continued, and I'm still struck by the fact that at the end of the workshop, I tell people to do the Tai Chi just for themselves. I find that people always are trying to refine it and everything, and they never really begin to feel the joy of it. And I give them permission to feel the joy and to do it themselves. And if they make a mistake, don't stop, just go on. It's all right. It does happen. And what I've noticed is really interesting. I know Paul had noticed the differences in the speed with which people did it. But I found, at least on Zoom, they were not trying to follow me and they weren't trying to follow anybody on the screen. They did it more slowly and deliberately, and actually in a much more relaxed fashion. And they flowed in a way that they didn't flow before. And I also found that some people that were having difficulty remembering some of the sequence, once I gave them permission to do it on their own, all of a sudden they knew it. I knew that they knew it.
That's really interesting, Beverly.
Probably some performance involved in anxiety.
Time constraints. What's your goal for today?
The time is just like Jim, to see everybody. Again, meet.
Excellent.
It's too long.
Fabulous. Okay, thanks, Beverly. And Laurie, we'll only have maybe 1 minute each. We've really got very short time together. So, Laurie.
Good thing I wrote mine down. Okay, here we go. I moved last year, and one of the great things that happened was I started Tai Chi, teaching Tai Chi for arthritis in a community center that was built in 1904. So it's this huge old brick stone building, which is pretty fabulous. It's just east of the Shenandoah River. And I found that it was a great way to meet new people, since we didn't know anybody here but our daughter. So that was a bonus. And then my objective is to stay current and keep teaching and to see everyone. It's good to see everyone.
Wonderful. Welcome, Laurie. Richard.
The classes was at the beginning of class, I said that we were going to do a silent practice to work on Jing. And we did our warm-ups, our Tai Chi walking forms for about 30 to 35, 40 minutes in complete silence. And people had a lot of really profound things to say after, both on Zoom. I did it on Zoom, and I also did it in person. So I think that was probably the most memorable thing. I am just here to be open to whatever happens while I'm here. That's my objective. And I will pass it to Deborah.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Deborah, and I'm in Bakersfield, California. I played with Tai Chi at work virtually for the past 2 months. And a big aha that that I was able to take away actually from the students was how they were able to use it as a way to communicate better amongst themselves as well as with other groups. One other takeaway also is we did a heart is in your hands exercise as a part of it. And it was just really taking open and close and showing them the pulse points that I actually gained from Tai Chi for heart conditions. So they could walk away with something functional, even if they decided to never come back to class again, but they did. They could walk away with something a little more functional that they could use right then. And what I would like to get out of this session is creative ways also from all of you and be inspired about how we can use some of the depth and make it functional as a part of the Tai Chi for Health programs that we use with sometimes the short amount of time that we have with participants, especially with Zoom, but also I'm finding that they're a little more just ready to jump at the bit and get to it and not stay so long. So thank you.
And I think is there one more person who hasn't gone that you're going to popcorn to?
Sorry. Yes, my friend Leanna Olson.
You're muted, Leanna.
Has to hit itself again. That's Windows 10 for you. I'm Leanna. I'm from Carmel Valley, California, and I'm a senior trainer. I've been working with the Tai Chi program since 2012, I believe. And I've really been enjoying stage one. I did Tai Chi for beginners last year, and just learning about the Qigong was so exciting for me. It was such a base for all the Tai Chi programs, and went, wow, look at how many times we're standing in the posture of infinity, you know? So I'm just loving things like that. And that's why I really enjoyed sharing that this morning on the Zoom call that I set up for World Tai Chi and Qigong Day. And I started with the Qigong. I've been working both virtually and in person, and I recently had to switch a location, and it was kind of tough, but my participants helped me to encourage me that we could not do Tai Chi outside in Carmel in the summer, even it gets too cold. And I found this wonderful church that is hosting me with a huge room. And so I'm enjoying getting new people in that wouldn't have known about me otherwise. And everything that I'm learning from stage one, I'm trying to incorporate all of that. And so I look forward to hearing. I love the conversation about the toe up, heel down, because I've actually found that it's better for people for their balance. And I talk to them about that with their heel down. We talk about, are you dancing or are you doing Tai Chi? So I really look forward to more nuggets like that. And just being with all you guys is just a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commence.
Really nice.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Janet.
Okay, so if you would all like to do the rehab program, so mate, that sounds a bit bad, doesn't it? If you would all like to do Tai Chi for rehabilitation, let me see. Darcy, did you say that you were doing a lot of Tai Chi for rehabilitation? If everybody could pin Darcy and follow Darcy for the timing. Sorry, you're muted. You're muted.
I can do mirror image so you can see my hands if you'd like. I'm used to doing it that way as well. What would you prefer?
Yeah, that'd be great. Then I can see you too.
Okay, great. I will do that. So can you put me on spotlight or should I pin myself? How do we do this?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can do it from here.
Okay, so everybody just pin me.
Everybody just pin Darcy, yeah.
We can't spotlight in breakout rooms.
Okay, is everybody ready? Okay, let's begin.
Well done, Darcy, on the mirror imaging.
That wasn't too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, Lorraine, I can really see the impact of that body work you've been doing. Very impressive. Yeah. You know, sort of Ralph and Virginia, I can see the impact of the
you know, that sort of focusing that you've been doing. Very, very nice. There's a lot of depth in the forms. I'm sorry, I'm watching you on a laptop, so you're all quite small, so I can't sort of see a whole lot of detail. Paul, you might be able to sort of give some feedback on more detail.
I think it's a very good view, everything. Yeah. And I thought I can see some of you are thinking on how to convert the Jing into Qi and how to move on. Certainly, Darcy did a beautiful job.
Excellent. Okay, so we move on to Tai Chi for diabetes. Does everybody do Tai Chi for diabetes? Just stick your hand up if you do. No, yes, 1, 2, a few. Maybe we should do Tai Chi for arthritis first, because if we run out of time, then the diabetes is not so, you know, so important. So we'll do Tai Chi for arthritis and part 2. And okay, so we've got to start with the first MT on the list, which I don't actually have a list, but Marianne is first on my screen here. Do you do rehabilitation, Marianne?
I am not an MT for rehab.
Okay, who's an MT for rehab? I know Darcy is. Okay, Darcy, you're it. So your topic is, how does Tai Chi for rehabilitation work?
Okay, well, Dr. Lamb gave us all the info already. So my job would be to ask really good questions for them to recall the work that they've done. And I would have probably emailed ahead of time to have them save their work in a folder, in a manila folder, so they can recall the lists that they've made during our stage 2 workshop. So I would also be listening and sensing what that group needs more of, possibly, because every workshop's different. So those are kind of my jobs. My first really good question, at least I think it's a good question, is why would it be useful to know how Tai Chi for rehabilitation works? Why would it be useful for us to know that? I'm going to open up the floor for you to answer that.
If you're expecting answers, people better unmute themselves.
Yes, or I will call on you. No, just anybody have an idea why it might be a good idea or useful?
Well, one reason is that people are going to ask me about it. So I need to have an answer that is on the tip of my tongue.
Good, excellent, yes. So it would be ready and on the tip of your tongue. Dr. Lamb made reference to having a quick elevator speech, and this can help us. So if you want to pull out, let's say I did have you have a folder with your list. If you want to pull out your lists, can you start to share what your top 3 ways Tai Chi for rehabilitation can help? Because everyone will have different top 3 answers. Who would like to go first? Lorraine, I saw your hand.
Okay, so my hand, well, Dantian breathing makes us relax a little bit and lets us focus a little bit better. Did you want 3 or just 1?
Well, if you don't want to share top 3, we can speed it up a little bit. Let's say you shared 3 and we can go on to someone else's top 3. Anybody else? Ralph, I see your hand.
It's easy to learn.
Awesome. It's easy to learn. That helps people want to give it a try. Excellent. And Tony.
Can be done if you cannot walk and you're disabled and you might be in a wheelchair or even in bed.
Excellent. Beautiful. Megan, I just saw a note. What was that flashed up you had? Do you want to unmute?
Sorry, my space key wasn't working. Strengthening our core, and there's only 3 movements.
Ah, isn't that wonderful? I love this program because we can add principles to it as well, since there are only 3 movements.
Yeah, so I get to that good stuff faster.
Yes. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
I would say that it's easy to.
Can anybody else contribute anything as to how that they think that Tai Chi for rehabilitation might work? Pat, please. Hi, Paul. Our guest speaker has just arrived, by the way.
Well, I'm just pretending to be one of your participants, but because I said balance work and home life, and Tai Chi for rehabilitation might work in that after I had my surgery and I couldn't work enough, but it helped me to get back in shape, and it helped me still feel mobile so I could get back at work and could get some balance back.
Pat, I can actually say the same thing because, I've just had recently had some ankle surgery. I was in a boot for 9 weeks. I did a lot of seated Tai Chi, for rehabilitation. Okay. Anybody else have any ideas that they'd like to offer about how Tai Chi for rehabilitation works? Is my 10 minutes up yet?
No, you still have 3 minutes.
You're kidding me.
Hey, Bill, I got one for you.
Yes, please.
I think it's great. I can see that Tai Chi for rehabilitation would allow me to get some nice exercise and look at my posture and just slow down. And I've had a knee problem, so I can do it seated, right?
Absolutely. Anything we do standing can be done seated. As a matter of fact, you can do Tai Chi for rehabilitation lying in bed. We have documented cases of people doing that. Our good friends have used Tai Chi for rehabilitation.
I thought that was called lie down Tai Chi.
Lie down Tai Chi.
La Chi.
I have one.
Sorry.
So I have one.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Positive affirmations that are included in the program really help me to visualize and just make me feel a whole lot better. So I feel a lot more positive after I've done the program.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Well, those are all great input that you've actually had, so we can come back and, I can go through this whole litany of the list of things, but we've talked about improving fitness, reducing our stress, we increase our flexibility, the muscle strength, all of those things that come along with an exercise program. We increase our positive attitude, develop a more positive outlook on life. We learn to use visualization to actually help to give us a more positive attitude, to actually help us to heal, to actually better ourselves through the things that we go to. And Tai Chi is a gentle exercise that we can also use even in communications, listening to the incoming force, redirecting that incoming force, and using the soft, gentle expressions of Tai Chi to express our opinion. Bottom line of how does Tai Chi for real, am I done?
Yeah. That's time.
I swear I've done this ever since 2013, and that 10 minutes becomes the longest 10 minutes of my life.
I know.
You're just on a roll too, Bill.
I can do it. I can do it. As a matter of fact, I have a hard time holding it to an hour when I'm teaching my classes. But 10 minutes.
Your time's up. So now 3 minutes of some feedback, a 3-minute little bit of feedback for Bill on his presentation and explanation of how he would do, how does Tai Chi for rehabilitation work?
I thought that was, oh, go ahead. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed that presentation. I thought that was a great idea to have people apply it to themselves in the small group. Fabulous.
Deborah?
Ditto. I loved that you made it very conversational and in the type of dialogue that your participants felt comfortable using. That's great.
Elena. Yeah.
I think Bill has such a charming personality that anything that he presents is very, very easy to assimilate, and like that he's talking specifically to you. So I like that about Bill.
And I also wanted to say, you know, when you do those 3 open and closes, there's something about that repetition. And in your description of the program, it felt like I was doing those 3 open and closes. It's really beautifully done. Thank you. But I thought we were supposed to do a little in-person participation. Did I miss something?
You were in a small group.
I was going to say that, Bill, you were so smooth about those transitions. Bill gave us the overview, and then he was having us be the people in the groups in his room.
Oh, okay.
That part. So and it was very smoothly done that then you did the live part, the real time. And then your summary, I wanted to comment, your summary, you attached that so smoothly, like I didn't even realize. I said, oh my gosh, he's summarizing the important points. It was just very smooth instead of being very didactic. So.
Head's growing.
Anybody else? Any feedback? Okay. Well, it's time for topic 2, which is Hey, and it's teaching Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention safely.
And then I go through my little spiel of the introduction, and then I break out into groups, and it depends on how many people are in my group and how I do that, but I still have the same theme. And then we come back together and pick out the last 3 points. Usually there's comfort zone and nurturing and program precautions and nurturing and no touch and no medical. So that comes out as a triangle. So you're all muted, but I'm going to pretend that you're actually able to talk. And so you've all done your discussion, and you've come up with these. In fact, I even have something here for you. This is what you came up with. You came up and we listed all of these wonderful things. You came up with all of these wonderful things about the happy house is all your safety precautions. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll hold it.
Let's pin Kathy. We can, so we can see.
Yeah, and so you can come up with. You guys came up with the happy house, and that's your venue, and the happy instructor. That's all your precautions, and you came up with your exercise care. So let's come up with the 3 points that you think are really exciting here. Oh, look at. Oh, Beverly said, oh, nurturing. Okay, so I wish I had my poster holder here, but I don't. Oh, goodness, look at this. We have the safety issue here, and now we have the ABCs, which I would always write on, always be careful. And oh, Beverly, you said nurturing. Oh, I'm going to write that in there. And Tammy, oh, you said that know the program. Great, so we're going to write that in there. And Richard came up with no touch and no medical advice. So that's going to be right in the center of my triangle where it is. I can't do this backwards. And I think you're getting the idea that I do a lot of pictures. If we have a larger group, sometimes each poster has their own and they go around writing out from group to, like the posters are around the room, and then everybody could write out on the posters and then they come back together. And then I would always eyes, ears, and heart as part of the ending, which is probably more of an overview of how I would do it, but this is difficult to do.
You are doing.
Inhale again. And feel the shape of the movement. Last time. Wide as your shoulders. Small as your head. Feel the warm water around you as you slowly let the ball down to your hip and let it go. Rock left, rock right, let it go. Both wrists come up to the left shoulder. Pause here. Drop the elbows, fingertips pointing towards the heavens. Open and close one more time. And as you exhale, feel as if the weight is just pooled at the bottom of your feet. As you exhale, everything melts away. Send the ball out to me to share, and slowly elbows drawn towards the earth. And feel again the pooling down at the bottom of your feet. Posture is upright. Nicely done. How did that feel? You looked great. Did you feel the ocean? Just that nice water stabilized, holding your body upright. Did you feel you're done?
You got something you'd like to contribute here?
It's great to see every detail that's in the on the website or on the DVD. So we just spoke about it, and it's great to see that everyone is keeping security of safety very high, and that everybody's doing the same thing on their own way. But every person or every teacher has the same message, but on his own concept or on a way to say something. So it's great to see.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. I mean, the safety is such a primary component of our program that, you know, you want to sort of try to bring it in all the sections, in all the sessions that you're doing. So that was really well done, Lorraine. Yeah, that was great. So does anybody else have any sort of feedback to give in the remaining 1 minute?
We can learn the rest of it. I love hearing how different master trainers have use different visualizations. And Lorraine, I love the box. I'm going to use the box to help explain angles. That was very brilliant. Thank you.
And you might want to, what I suggest to new instructors is you might even want to take like a couple sheets of easel paper and tape them together and make a square. And then you may stand in it, especially if you're doing Zoom, because then they can see what you're talking about, since most rooms are not square, they're more rectangles.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that was really good. I enjoyed that session. I hope you all did as well. I think we're about to get sucked back into the ether. Yeah, it's been lovely to see you all and work with you all today. I may not see you tomorrow, even though I'll be here for the first session. I won't be doing the breakout rooms. I've got 2 classes to teach. Yeah, I think we're closing now. Yeah, lovely to see you all. Yeah, I look forward to the next time we're in person.
Thank you. Thanks, Jack.
Hold on this. Okay. So just settle yourself into your posture, lifting the crown of the head, opening the armpits, feeling that body alignment, and breathing. Bring your awareness in And Tai Chi for Rehabilitation, commence.
Really nice.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Jenna.
Okay, so if you would all like to do the rehab program, so mate, that sounds a bit bad, doesn't it? If you would all like to do Tai Chi for rehabilitation, let me see. Darcy, did you say that you were doing a lot of Tai Chi for rehabilitation? If everybody could pin Darcy and follow Darcy for the timing. Sorry, you're muted. You're muted.
I can do mirror image so you can see my hands if you'd like. I'm used to doing it that way as well. What would you prefer?
Yeah, that'd be great. Then I can see you too.
Okay, great. I will do that. So can you put me on spotlight or should I pin myself? How do we do this?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can do it from here.
Okay, so everybody just pin me.
Everybody just pin Darcy, yeah.
We can't spotlight in breakout rooms.
Okay, is everybody ready? Okay, let's begin.
Well done, Darcy, on the mirror imaging.
That wasn't too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, Lorraine, I can really see the impact of that body work you've been doing. Very impressive. Yeah. You know, sort of Ralph and Virginia, I can see the impact of the you know, that sort of focusing that you've been doing. Very very nice. There's a lot of depth in the forms. I'm sorry, I'm watching you on a laptop, so you're all quite small, so I can't sort of see a whole lot of detail. Paul, you might be able to sort of give some feedback on more detail.
I think it's a very good view, everything. Yeah. And I thought I can see some of you are thinking of how to convert the Jing into Qi and how to move on. Certainly, Darcy did a beautiful job.
Excellent. Okay, so we move on to Tai Chi for diabetes. Does everybody do Tai Chi for diabetes? Just stick your hand up if you do. No, yes, one, two, a few. Maybe we should do Tai Chi for arthritis first, because if we run out of time, then the diabetes is not so, you know, so important. So we'll do Tai Chi for arthritis and part 2. Yeah, so if you want to pin me again. And then mute yourselves. I think you're all muted anyway. Yep. So just feeling the song in the joints, expanding the spine, sinking into the floor. Breathing, sinking the chi down, centering. Tai Chi for arthritis, commence.
Welcome back, everybody. I don't know if you're like me. I love Star Trek. I was a fan. You know, zoom me, Scotty. Zoom, we're all here. Sorry if you weren't giving warnings. We just thought that Becky loved that. Zoom, get everybody back. Me too. And
Can I just ask, well, let's stop my recording because I don't want to stop your recording.
yes, my recording is going all the time, but please, you can stop yours. Yeah, well, that's certainly something I learned, that we need more time for this. But meanwhile, thank you for sort of working through with me. But also, like before, the in-person with multiple updates, it's a challenge. But I always look at training, working with our mindset rather than particulars. And the thing is, with stage 1, even though they're not totally available, not all of them, but they are. They will. I have finished all the stage 1, so they will be available. It takes a while for Dino to convert it into the website. So I imagine in another 2 weeks, every MT will be able to go to stage 1 of any program at any time. And Megan have a really good idea. That Megan suggests that it would be really good for any MT before you run a workshop to go through stage 1, whether you do in person or to run well, if you do a stage 2, you must go through stage 1, otherwise it doesn't make sense. But even if you do normal one, it would be good. And that's Megan's suggestion, which, where's Megan? Oh, she's here at the bottom, hidden on the side. That's really good. It reminds me of Pat Weber. Now, not all of you know who Pat Weber is. But most of you would, because Pat is one of the most senior instructors in my school and one of the earliest master trainer, and she helped, like Janet, to train all the other master trainers. And Pat's amazing. So I was talking to her years ago, and she says before she teach a group lesson, she always go back to the DVD and look at the lesson first. I was so impressed. You know, Pat is very experienced, and she still go back and look at it. And I was inspired by her. Every now and then I go back and look at my DVDs. I must say, I didn't do it very often. And sometimes I'm surprising how well I did. And sometimes I found things, nuance that I got it, but I kind of let it slip and it came back. And I certainly found better ways to do things. And with the stage 1, that allowed me to update everything. For example, the What is Tai Chi has been updated. I think it's Betty. Yeah, Betty told me that somewhere I mentioned some examples of Yang style came from TCD, got Yang style, and then I look at the whole thing. I thought, well, anyway, I can do it better. So I have tried to do everything Betty suggests, found out. So I redo the Tai Chi for What is Tai Chi again, and I also redo the guide for stage 2. So we can talk more about this. I think we need a 5-minute break. So let's have a break for 5 minutes and come back. 5 minutes, please.
Dr. Lamb, and everybody, I'll just share that you're talking about going back to the DVD. Every time I go back to it, and even when I was re-listening to the whole thing to do stage 1 last week, I hear you say something I never heard you say before. And a lot of times I would say, gee, I wish Dr. Lamb would talk about blah, blah, blah. And you do. It's on the DVD. So thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. That is so beautiful. Thank you. And I'm really happy to hear that, because each DVD it's a labor of passion, and I think of it a long time. I write them carefully. I think about it, and then I talk to my colleagues, and people like Janet, Fiona, put a lot of energy helping run it too. You put a lot of energy helping. In fact, Ronnie helped to construct a few things: Tai Chi at Work, Tai Chi for Memory, and Pat was the first person I talked to about Tai Chi for Kids was with Pat 8 years before we create the program. So, so what you say really make me feel happy. All the works with everybody put in, and yeah, thank you. Lorraine, you want to say something?
Yes, Paul. I use DVDs still, and I have, of course, the collection of DVDs over time, and I do refer to it before I go and teach. I do revise and refer to and confer with you how you teach and how I would be constructing my class. On that note, I noticed everything is all the update program are online, and I noticed for example, Tai Chi with Diabetes DVD mostly is not most up to date, that you might have revised the form. And on that note, I am not, I support that everything has a cost, and Tai Chi for Health Institute need to survive and be viable, but I'm asking you to consider put a cost onto the instructors or senior trainers. I don't know how master trainers access the program, but for senior trainers to have lifetime access. Like I pay for, like last year pay for a conference, there is a cost for access to the conference material for a week, and there is another additional charge if I want lifetime access to the conference recordings. So I'm asking you to consider whether there is an avenue for people to have lifetime access instead of 180 days access. Because if we constantly refer back to the program as a revision and support resources to guide us to continue to teach, I think like I have access to a DVD since I bought in 2012 or something like that. I constantly refer to it the year that I teach the program. And so that's the point I'm trying to say, maybe work out an avenue that people can have longer access.
Thank you, Lorraine. At the moment, what we do is we give all the instructors 50% discount to subscribe everything for a year. And in the cost of slightly more than two programs. However, lifetime, my IT specialists think of lifetime as a lifetime forever, like Amazon, which of course we cannot provide that. But actually we are starting to see that lifetime doesn't mean that. It probably means as long as they are alive. But it is a cost commitment with our reputation. We are looking at that, and we're certainly looking at how to make things cost effective as much as possible. So thank you for that suggestion. It certainly is in our agenda with the, you can just imagine with COVID challenges, everything went down significantly. The institutes having financial constraint, and certainly I have not sacked any of my staff, and that means I got to find something to replace. So, but things will go back to normal, and we are working on it. Yeah. Jim, you want to? Sorry, or Jim, you want to say something?
Just a quick question, Paul. My mind isn't always the most recollection, but I thought after Tai Chi for Rehab, you had told the master trainers that if we wanted to add the 3 open and closed seated Tai Chi for arthritis, it would work very well with that. And you also thought it worked well at the beginning and end of Tai Chi for diabetes to add the relaxation part of it. I just want to make sure I understood that correctly. If you still think that way, or if I misunderstood and I should quit putting that out.
I can't see any reason why not. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Pat, do you want to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to comment that years ago I had the opportunity when I was at the Sydney workshop, you were filming Tai Chi at work. And I had the opportunity to be a part of that, and I was blown away by how much time and detail and effort goes into the filming. It gave me a whole new appreciation because it looks so easy when I turn it on and you're there and Pat's sitting down and Janet's doing what you do. But I know from that experience how many takes it takes and just all the other things that go into it. And I want to thank you for the care. I forget if it was today at World Tai Chi Day, but somebody asked about a DVD on your program and they said to me, well, does he show it from the back on or is it all front on? I said, oh no, it's back on, it's front on, it's movement by movement. There's such painstaking detail and they're just such quality programs, so thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Hey, Janet. It really is everybody, you know, so many people in the team make it. Janet, you want to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of, along what Pat was saying about multiple takes, I remember that one time we were in your place and, you know, we were coming towards each other and then we were like this and the camera guy said, no, you've got to stop that. You know, you look like one of those Indian goddesses with multiple arms. It's hilarious. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're a whole bunch of obsessive person. Janet herself, the camera person, myself, we just want everything to be perfect. And do you remember, Janet, that we were in that studio thing, we suddenly found out we did something, the direction was not right. We have to go back and it's like everyone was already tired and we have to go back many steps and start again. And that was amazing. We went back and we have finally got it done. Because the studios, you can only rent it at a certain time. So when we walk out there, the part that you might not know, when we walk out, I meant to have dinner with the family. So Andrea was in the first day, so she wasn't there that day when we had all the mistakes we had to fix. So we walk out about 8 o'clock, so I was late for dinner, but they were waiting. And she said, everybody walk out looking like this. And he said, Dad, but you look like that. So I was so happy we did it, you know, all that extra energy that coming. Yes, it was fun doing videos. In fact, stage 1 reminds me of that. Okay, back to the workshop. We're going to do presentation, and we have 40 minutes. So please, you go into 3 groups as before, and then the presentation, each person have 10 minutes to do a presentation. Only 3 presentations, so not everybody get to present, but you can learn from watching and being a participant. So 3 groups, please.
So we had very thoroughly organised master trainers. Our first presenter talked about how does Tai Chi for rehab work, and she had fabulous content. She knew her stuff. She looked so at ease in her presentation. One point that we thought about to improve was to be very clear on what the 3 take-home messages were. So people are like, we've got this big view and then people come back to be anchored into the 3 take-home messages and just to keep to that. And then the second presenter, she did a fabulous overview because sometimes that can be a bit challenging as well. And our second presenter had actually prepared posters for us, which was wonderful. So instead of having our small groups feedback, she had already got the small groups to feedback. And that the sort of visual input was terrific to see. She had great energy in her presentation, And one point that we're thinking about is working on Zoom, instead of having paper posters we hold up, to play with the whiteboard option on Zoom platform. So it's a little bit easier for people to be able to see. And then our last presenter taught us the stroking the bird's tail. And our last presenter hadn't actually run a Zoom workshop. So it was the first time they were teaching on Zoom. So it was a very steep learning curve. And they did really, really well. They very much anchored to the watch me, follow me, show me teaching method. And then we had fabulous discussion about, well, how do you change 90 degrees when you're working in a two-dimensional format like Zoom? And some suggestions were like going from the 45-degree angle to the other 45-degree angle, to hold up inner soles to actually show the direction of the feet, which I thought was a great idea. And then we had a bit of a discussion about, some people haven't done any Zoom workshops and some people have, and what that looks like, and is it worthwhile trialing it? And we thought it was a really good idea. I think it's a format that's definitely going to be staying. So overall, terrific presentations, and really lovely for everyone to connect together again. Thank you.
Wow, that's a wonderful summary, and that gives us a picture of what happened. Pat, would you like to go next?
Sure. We just love listening and seeing how we each approach these different topics and learning from each other. In our first presenter on how does TCR work, we all learned from his manner and his organization and ease with working with people. You know, it's interesting how we all have different strengths, and it comes through in how we approach the topics. And in our second one, how to teach TCA-FP safely, that was really interesting, because the overview was all about a really big view of approaching teaching people who are going to be new instructors, and having a big picture in mind first. And what came out in discussion when we talked more about particular safety issues is that that person gets to teach with a team, so doesn't always have to teach the safety module, because there's a team approach and other people take care of safety. But the basic, bringing it back down to the basic, stay in the comfort zone, stick to the program, look out for the environment, came through. And our third person was not updating in diabetes, but instead described and then taught in real time part of, I suggested a move out of a program that they were updating in. And the imagery, we learned from the imagery, tone of voice, and again, the mannerisms. So it's just really great to have a chance to be with colleagues and see how different people present. We all learn.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, hi. Well, we had a great group, you know, there's it's always very interesting to me to see the different skills and different personalities that people bring into their presentations. Our first presenter had an amazingly warm manner, and was able to sort of, you know, do that one-on-one connection with people and draw information out of them. I think there was just that little bit at the end, like Rani was saying, as sort of, you know, just to sort of anchor it back to those three main points. You know, it's really great to have a very personal connection with people and have a wide-ranging discussion. But it is important to sort of bring it back down to you know, that take-home message that is easy for everybody to remember. So our second presenter on the Tai Chi for arthritis and falls prevention, very well organized, obviously had a very clear view of, you know, the safety features and how important it was to the program. Good summary. I think a little reluctant to sort of, you know, embark on the Zoom experience, but only because of life happening. So, you know, I think life happens. You know, Tai Chi fits in around it, no matter how important it is to all of us. And the Striking Bird's Tail, we had a very experienced presenter who actually integrated those safety concerns into her summary of how she was going to teach it, and then very detailed, you know, sort of presentation of the form itself. Really great depth of experience, but you know, also the experience to sort of know how to tailor that to the participants' skills. So it was really very interesting, very enjoyable. It was lovely to see people, and I just love that that sort of personal connection that we're all able to make. It's great. Thank you, everybody in my group.
Thank you, Janet and Pat and Rani. That is, I think you all give good summary, but also says it really well. What Janet says, it's just us together, sharing idea, connecting. That makes really, that's so important in our vision. In fact, I think I was so impressed when I read the study done by Michaela Csikszentmihalyi, who study on flow, on how people learn together. And one of his big, thick book about creative people essentially shows creative people, people who achieve a lot, generally speaking, they don't just sit by themselves and create things. It is a group thing, working with group, able to listen, open your mind, and work with each other. And then, like we do in our vision, we work together and we come out with better and better ideas. And that's, yeah, that's how we make for. And that is so enjoyable to work with everyone and come out with great ideas. So I think we're going to take a photo before we conclude. Becky's going to coordinate this.
All right, everyone turn on your camera, please, and come closer so we can see your beautiful smile. All right, so on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, nice, I love it. All right.
How about do a open close?
All right, let me paste this one real quick. Let me set it over here.
Keep losing my cursor. I just had a question on the last email that you sent, something about videotaping while we were doing this, which wasn't possible, but I noticed that in the breakout room, Ronnie was recording it. So is that going to be sent to you, or do we have to send you something?
No, it's mainly for the facilitators, so that hopefully I can get a record of everybody, and then in the recording I'll try to put in as much as possible. We did have some hiccups in the recording, that always happen. So I'll give some editing, and then I'll give the recording to everybody.
Well, no, I just wanted to clarify that we didn't have that. I didn't have to give you something.
Right.
So, okay, that's all
You
I
can
want
send
to
me
know.
anything, February.
You never know. You
Yeah. Well, anybody else like want to ask questions, share anything? Richard, go ahead.
I'm doing, I need Tai Chi for Energy 1 and 2. When would we pick that one up?
Okay, with people who, are we doing that tomorrow?
No.
Tomorrow is Qigong,
Beginners, osteo, and memory.
okay. For anybody who doing a program that's not on those 6 today and tomorrow, the easiest way is to email me. Stage 1 will be ready soon. Actually, I've done all the stage 1, but it just need a couple of weeks for Dino to convert it to the website. And then I will talk to you about how to do that. Essentially, what I'm thinking is you do stage 1 of those other programs, and then I'll spend some time with you, Zoom with you, to finish the update for that. So any other programs outside this, it will be email me and I'll sort it out. With the senior trainers, that's all you have to do the first day. And but you are welcome to come tomorrow. It's fun to join in. The same link for tomorrow. This link we use now, the same as tomorrow. So the stage 1, I'm hoping this will be really useful for as a template, as a basic structure for update as well, training and update, and then plus the personal time together. Any other questions? Is that okay, Richard? That answer your question? Yeah, just okay, fantastic. So tomorrow we're going to start the same time and in same link as this one. And I did have a minor changes in the timetable, which is the lesson plan I already sent to you. Today, I think I was a little anxious about today because, you know, it's unusual to go from face to face, and you all did really well. You all did brilliantly. I can imagine if I were to do that last year, you won't be able to come as smoothly. Zoom and all that is a challenge, but it could be fun to learn. Bill and Linda, you want to say something?
I just personally want to thank every person for managing to go to the correct room each time tonight. That was wonderful.
Absolutely second from me. Thank you everybody for spending the time and the effort to go to different rooms. And I mean, of course, there's nothing like in person. Zoom does have some advantage that in person doesn't have, but mostly in person is the way we are meant to be, and I'm hoping to do that to meet you all in person soon. But what we learn from Zoom and what we have in Zoom, it's invaluable, and I'm really welcome you. Thank you for being here, and I will send you the recording of both days. It will take a little while for me to go through it and editing it, but it will be there. The pandemic changed the world, and I'm so glad we're moving along with that. And I'm so glad we're going to make the best out of it. Really, the world needs Tai Chi more than ever, and we are doing well. Everybody's making effort to moving along with the time, to work out better ways to cope with it. More work for us to do, and hopefully it's a lot of fun for us to do that. So with that in mind, I'm going to conclude. Oh, absolutely, I'd like to thank my team. Becky, so helpful, just come in the right time. Ernie, Pat, and Linda, and the facilitators, Janet, Rani, and Pat again. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. So have a nice rest, and I look forward to see you tomorrow and in person sometime. Do that one more time. Welcome everybody to second update. And today we have slightly less than half participants, and we don't even have to move meeting place. We're right here all the time. So we're going to enjoy today's leisurely pace, or leisurely pace, depending on where you come from. If you got my lesson plan, I send you a lesson plan for you to know that lesson plans are meant to be changed. But it's good to have a plan. So I'm going to change the lesson plan from the first item. We already done introduction for ourselves, and I already introduced Donnie and Anushia. So we won't do the introduction for the first item, but if anybody have something really exciting to share, please do raise your hands and unmute yourself, and any great news. And otherwise, yes, Nina, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to clarify a point that was raised at our last ST-MT meeting about the United States Tai Chi community. Our bylaws allow us to welcome members of any human being, no matter where you live. It's not restricted to the United States.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty exciting. And I do have to say, I did let service know I have to leave this this meeting a little early to attend a board meeting for that organization. But I'm so honored to be able to get to know everybody a little bit better and play Tai Chi.
Well, fantastic. Thanks, Nina. I think that's so much more consistent with who we are. We are international, and everyone is welcome to be part of us. So that's fantastic. Thank you. That's great news. Okay, so if there's always chance for you to say something anytime. So let's start practicing. What I plan to do is we do warm up together, and then we do those sets together, and then we go into small groups to practice those forms and talk about any refined points you need to know. Is that okay? Let's go. Walk around. Chin back and push against a gentle resistance. Keep exercising your visualization technique. And the second leg exercise, I do mirror image. And visualize using your dantian to control. And dantian just move a little bit, and your hands move a little more. that means you're not really turning your body that much. It's just down as though there's that trackball that move. Roll and do this rolling very subtly and continuously roll back and in a gentle circle. Song your upper limb from the shoulder to the finger joints. Breathing in, expand your lower abdomen, and breathing out, contract the pelvic floor muscles. Then moving in continuation, visualize your spine stretch gently. So one of the reasons I took quite a long time to work with my colleagues for the warm-up exercise is because I used to get bored with the warm-up exercise. There was the reason I created this warm-up exercise that is really Tai Chi, but also safe and also in flow. As well as that, it's 1, 2, 3, which is something my daughter inspired me to when she was 12, I think. I probably tell many of you this story. She told me when she was 12 that your stuff is really complicated. So I asked her, how do I make things simple? She said, well, 1, 2, 3. Put everything into 1, 2, 3. So in case you don't know, I'm really happy to tell you my daughter just reached 40-year-old now, so from 12 to 28 years. And she's got more interested in what we're doing, and she certainly has learned Tai Chi from us. And you might see her now and then. She makes me very happy that my 2 kids involved with Tai Chi as well in different ways. Where am I? Here.
Well, your volume seems to be a little low. I'm not sure if everyone else feels the same.
Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I think maybe just keep reminding me. Yeah, it should work. Okay, one last time. So yesterday, we were talking about, I think a few senior trainers telling me how much they appreciate the effort we put into doing the DVDs. One of the DVDs that we're not selling anymore was Tai Chi in Flight. That's what I used to do when I fly a lot. And in doing Tai Chi in Flight, I have this warm-up exercise sitting in the aeroplane seat, and I do this. Like you can see my shoes here. Well, this one is the indoor shoes. Anyway, when I look at the video at the editing mode, I realized somebody had chewing gums on the floor, and my shoes got chewing gum there. And when you do this, you can see a patch of chewing gums. And we had to redo the whole thing. That's so expensive. But still, the program didn't work. There are some programs that didn't work out, and we just have to let it go. Although, yeah, Tai Chi for Rehab would be just perfect to replace that, because it's 3 moves, and You can do.
I have that DVD.
You still do? Wow, good on you. Well, you didn't see the chewing gum, right? Because we did it. We throw the original one away. Okay, good on you. And are we doing the knees? Yeah. It's so good to know that you still have that video. When you look at that video, you know that plane, that seat I sit on, that's actually from Qantas. And I had to go into a lot of trouble to buy that because they worry that you use it to advertise against them or something. And oh yeah, and it's really expensive to get it. Okay, all right, so we're going to do Tai Chi for beginners first. And I'm going to assume you know the 4 Qigong exercise, the 5 fundamental movements, and understand the system. I guess that is why stage 1 is so useful. All these are lined up there. So we will just do the set together. And if you have any questions, let me know. So let's start with the Tai Chi for beginner set. And Tai Chi for beginners. Commence. Shape. When we go through all the movements, I'll talk to you a little bit more. Tai Chi for Beginner is quite amazing. I think we have nearly 10 million people look at these first free lessons. Okay, let me watch you. Can you do Tai Chi for Beginner? I'm going to ask Janet to lead. So if you can follow Janet's tempo. Okay, I'm going to keep the comments later on with cool down and sit down, and I'll talk about them. Meanwhile, let's do the next one. Next one is Tai Chi for Osteoporosis, which is one of the earliest programs that I create, and we have such enthusiastic support from Osteoporosis Australia that the CEO actually spoke, and she later became the CEO of the World Osteoporosis Society. She's really visionary, very nice lady, Judy, it is an interesting, compact sort of program. So let's do it together. Tai Chi for Osteoporosis. Tai Chi for Osteoporosis. Commence. So this is some of people's favorite. It is sort of a short set. I'll tell you more about that. But meanwhile, I'll ask Pat to lead to do Tai Chi for osteoporosis with everybody. Can spotlight Pat? But I can see everybody. Yeah. Okay, everybody, Tai Chi for osteoporosis. Great, nice, nice. So in a way, Tai Chi for osteoporosis is the third program I created. So one of the most original programs, just so that you remember, the total program that is in activity is 12. I create more than that, but the 12 that's still going. And so the third one is pretty good. And Tai Chi for memory is one of the latest one. So the next one we're going to do Tai Chi for memory, which you can see there's a difference and there's a thought process that's different in it too. So please, let's do Tai Chi for memory. Just little walk around, loosen that one, we're getting. So is that okay? And you can see me okay? Spotlight me? Yes? Oh. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Great. Tai Chi for memory. Commence. feel the different flavor and different emphasis and different feel of that movement to Tai Chi for osteoporosis. I'm going to ask Rani to lead, to set the tempo for the Tai Chi for memory for everybody. Cooling down, please. That's really good. Any questions? Anybody have something you really want to ask me? After this, you're going to break up groups, and then you're going to practice those 3 forms, and the facilitator will give you some feedbacks. And of course, you can still discuss and talk about any points that you're interested. So by all means, just raise your hands if you want to ask any questions. But I'm going to just give you a little bit of feedback introduction on different programs. The number one, Tai Chi for beginners. I always think there's a great potential in that, the names and the resources we have. Certainly, with the internet, by far, is the most viewed first lesson, like 10 million, I think close to 10 million now or something. It's just amazing. So there must be a big interest there. With online lessons too, it was one of the biggest, most subscribed people. So the name and the construction, I really like the way that a lot of people give me their feedbacks about. They like the Qigong, they like the theory, they like the handbook, and they like the Tai Chi for Beginners book. So there are all those resources. One of the things I notice is just being mindful when at the beginning. You don't have to do it, just being mindful. When you do the form here, when you step, just be mindful to push your heel back so that you ended up with this foot facing 45 degrees, not like this. That's not so well balanced. This is better balanced. And I'd like you to just think of when you deliver force, when you parting white horse's mane, feel there's a resistance. The force is here, as though there's like a rubbery sort of coming back and pushing, and then it's like there's something that allow you to bounce back naturally and gently to create the next wave. So visualization is very helpful. So and also, you know, if you look at the Qigong, it's really good to bring a bit of Tai Chi philosophy into the world. That the first was nothing, cleanse your mind. There was nothing. That's where we come from. We came from nowhere, nothing. When we're born, we have no idea what the world is like, and then the world is infinity. Well, that's really, I think it's really beautiful. My ancestors' wisdom, the observation of the universe is really nice, and I think Tai Chi is an internal thing. When you teach it, it's good to have that in mind. And I really think that with the changing, Tai Chi for beginner appeals more to younger people, and that's what we want. We want to bring Tai Chi to younger people. So, you know, for more people, and we want to bring to everybody. But especially want to have more younger people involved. And Tai Chi for beginner would be really a way for us to get there. We got quite a few. When I did the stage 2, Tai Chi for beginner was reasonably well supported. And going to Tai Chi for osteoporosis, at that time, there's not a lot of research showing Tai Chi helps osteoporosis. And the main research was done by Hong Kong University. And one of the big work was they used the Yang style for a year and then compare the outcome. It shows the people with the osteoporosis is a continual thing. It lost bone density every year once you start losing it. And they found out that the people who does Tai Chi, the process didn't stop, but it slowed down 3 times. So I thought that was really good. And so I tried to work out which Yang style is the one that really, really effective. So brush knee, repulse monkey, and the kicks. At that time, research did show that standing up on one foot, kicking, improve your balance. But at that time, research wasn't so much on the dynamic balance. So we work on the static balance, that's one foot kicking. But interestingly, even up to now, research has shown that the static balance is actually reflect better in preventing fall than dynamic balance. Doesn't seem to make sense, but anyway, so far that is what I understand. So there's something magical about static balance, standing on one feet. And of course, that's what we put in. So that was before time, actually, visionary in the one foot kicking. And of course, repulse monkey, stepping back, is an important part for falls prevention and balance. It's always challenging. So that's Tai Chi for osteoporosis. And you notice the waving hands is Sun style. That was one of the few that the waving hand was Sun style. Then we go to Tai Chi for memory. And you will notice that there's a lot of repetition. Everything's done in 3. And I was really pleased that that's from Tai Chi for rehabilitation. We got a lot of feedback about how much people appreciate the 3 repetition. Yeah, so, and for memory, of course, people with memory problem, we put emphasis on the Qi cultivation, so open and close, and the Feng Qi, and the repetition, because if they have problem with memory, that's how we tackled it. One of the things I noticed is that when you do open and close, some of you kind of open and close like this. I would like you to, if you can, if it's comfortable, especially your participants, to do here. So both your palms are parallel to each other and stay parallel. Somehow it gave you better Qi feeling. And of course, if people with arthritis, they can't bend their wrist, then that's fine. Then ask them to visualize the bending. So maintain that parallel to each other. For my practice, I find that give me more Qi. So keep that in mind. Open and close is the most easy movement to learn, and yet there's so much depth into it, especially coupled with the breathing exercise. That's really amazing, and you know, it's everywhere. Yeah, I think it's Mr. Sung's genius from Simplius. He incorporated that really amazing depth in it. So those are the brief points that I watch you, and I like to give you this bit of feedback and background. And if you have any questions, it's also a good time to ask. Otherwise, we're going to break out groups. Okay, anytime at all, we can always talk. But meanwhile, we'll go to breakout group. And Becky, are we doing 2 groups?
Becky, in the breakout rooms, can we be a host as well so we can spotlight people in the breakout rooms? Is that possible?
So in breakout rooms, you are already a co-host. So what they have to do is pin. If for some reason in the breakout rooms, you're not allowed to spotlight. So,
thank you.
All right. Okay, 20 minutes, Paul?
Well, actually, we can do longer. What I like you to do is, let me see. You might like to do one together, like what I did, and then the facilitator then watch, and then give comments. So each group, you have once together, once the facilitators watch, and then give feedbacks and answer questions, and then move on to the next movement. So I would think you probably need 40 minutes to do all 3 movements. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it set. So have fun. Here you go.
Yes, memory, beginners, and I have a key in for TCO. I think that's maybe incorrect on the list. I'm not an MT, other than I can update other instructors.
Okay. Terrific. Okay, I just wanted that clarity. Thank you.
So if I may just add to that I'm really so happy to see so many flies on the wall, and that's a great indication of how well we're doing and how much enthusiasm we have. Great. And I think I'm just visualizing, thinking that with the stage 1, I can produce more master trainers much easier online wise, so we can make it more accessible. And if any program that you want to work on, it will be much easier to become a master trainer on that. I'll work with you. I just haven't have it set up yet. As long as it can be done if we can. So I'm really excited about the future. So sorry, back to you. I'll be flying the wall now.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, let's start with the last program we've done, which is the Tai Chi for memory. Again, I'll pop myself on mute. We'll just follow along first of all, and then I'll watch and see what information or feedback. Thanks for visiting, Paul. Okay, bye for now. Again,
Just saying goodbye now.
Okay, enjoy your class. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
See you, baby. See you, Ernie.
Yeah.
Bye, Paul.
Nice to see you, Jen.
See you
Always.
Tuesday, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay.
On Zoom because I run out of space there. Like Dr. Lamb. So we just did that one through once, and we had talked about the brush knee and the repulse monkey. So now let me turn my screen off, and I've voluntold to set the pace. Deborah, would you set the pace?
Welcome back, everybody. That was good. I thought when I went to the groups, you all have fun and doing really well. Let's have a report from Ronnie. Would you like to go first?
Oh, sorry. Let me change it. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We had great fun playing together in our group, and we just sort of invited different explorations, always prioritising safety. So we went through some of the tips that you were suggesting, Paul. And as we were
running through, we saw some of the commonalities, like the repulsed monkeys in a lot. So we explored how can we really protect our shoulders and things like that in those movements. And it was beautiful to see how open-minded everyone is, because sometimes we've been practicing this particular way for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and just to try something slightly different or bring awareness to a different part of the body can sort of unripple us. So it was really lovely to see that invitation was taken up with great enthusiasm, I must say. So yeah, but it's so beautiful to play Tai Chi with everyone and just to watch the forms, which are quite lovely. So that's a bit of a vague update, but that's our update.
Thank you. That's really, really nice. Pat?
Yeah, what a great group. It's a fabulous group. So we just explored a couple of little things to maybe put some depth in a different way, and being mindful of the foot placement and the weight shift. We had Janet for most of the first round, so that was good. And yeah, just enjoying it. And I think that today I'm seeing such a softness and silkiness in the moves. I think some of that anxiety from yesterday being the first day, some of that anxiety is dissipated, and there's a nice silky sense of movement going on. So
Great, wonderful. Anybody have any questions? We're doing really well. You must have liked what I'm doing. No questions. But yeah, you're welcome to give comments or questions before we have a break. Okay, or maybe we need a break. So let's have 5 minutes off. The link to the 5-minute Tai Chi, that is that would be, I mean, it's not 5 minutes in teaching it, but it's 5 minutes to do it. So so it taught with warm-up exercise, with a bit of background, and very simple to follow instructions, and it's YouTube. So people just use that link to YouTube and they can learn from it. And that's my contribution to anybody who want to learn Tai Chi. It's done in the way I feel safe and good enough to learn and to gain benefit from. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I encourage you to share that link with anyone. People like that, people you talk to in the website, then you can tell them at no cost. You can refer this link to people, and they can gain benefit from somebody who has experience and evidence to show that our program works.
Right. Yeah, I know you have a YouTube video on Tai Chi for Arthritis, which just is a basic beginner introduction, and the same for Tai Chi for Energy, and I've definitely been sharing those.
Oh, that's the first lesson. Every program, the first lesson is free. Every program, including the 24 form, the 42. Anything I make, the first lesson is free. So people can actually see what they're getting, get the flavor with it. Whereas the 5 minutes Tai Chi is like a miniature set, a lot to do with the breathing and a simple movement to help people to relax, get the gist of Tai Chi, and so they understand a bit of what Tai Chi is about. Yeah.
Okay, well, if I can't find it, I'll check in with you or Pat or someone that knows exactly what
you go back to any email correspondence with me, and you look at the end of my signature under my name.
Okay, got it.
It's
Okay,
there.
I got
The
you
link's
now.
there.
I'm with you. Thank you.
Well, I can give you a bit of background story about that. Of course, the first lesson is helpful for people to see what I do, but when the pandemic hit, I wanted to do something for everybody, so I offered Tai Chi for Rehabilitation on YouTube, free, the whole program. And within weeks, there's 50,000 people have viewed it. So that was great. And I tell people, I'm going to put it up there 3 months for you to learn. But then after half a year, I thought I have to remove it, and I got to be, sustainable. I can't really give everything free, otherwise I won't be able to produce anything else. So when I take it away, there were quite a few people who were felt distressed about it. I mean, it's there half a year. So I thought, okay, create a 5-minute Tai Chi that's more simple, anyone can pick up, and I'm going to leave it in YouTube permanently. Anybody can have it and share it. And so that's why it's on the signature, that's why it's there. I just thought, that's the background.
I do have one quick question, or since with Tai Chi for memory, this is actually more of a comment. I found that I was actually drifting, and it feels so nice. There's so much repetition that I lose. It's very nice in Jing, but I just get lost in the movement, so I lose count. So I was wondering if that is a part of relaxation? Is it a part of a nice memory thing that you can share with participants? Is it? Do we need to stay mindful of count since it's memory?
I think losing count in anything, any part of my forms, it's a good sign. I often do waving hands, and I enjoy the spiral force in waving hands. And, where am I? 3 or 4? Do another one. So that's fine. I think the 3 times is sort of trying to get people engaged. But if you enjoyed it so much that you're so engaged that you lost count, that is like in flow, you're not aware of the time or something, you're just so engaged. That's a good thing. However, to help people to engage, that's why I think it's good to get people to try to do it the first time. I'll do it softly. The second time I do it with more dantian breathing, and the third time I'll do it with more internal force, and sort of a way to get people engaged. But if you already engaged, like you say, and lost count on it and enjoyed it, that's a good sign too.
I had the same problem, and I just figured it was my memory.
Yeah. So well, I sort of really enjoyed the 3 repetition, especially waving hands. Sorry, excuse me, Lorraine. Can I interrupt for 1 sec? I didn't. Well, it's my mistake. I didn't clearly explain that the presentation is for MTs who's updating or MT of that program. So I think Ronnie already understands that anyway. Is that right? Okay.
Yep,
so that's what I want to make sure of. Okay, cool.
Yep, not the memory. I was kind of prepared to do beginners, really not prepared to do osteo because I don't know that one at all. But I was prepared if I got asked to do beginners, I would do that one. So I was 2 for 3. But yes, no, this is mine, so I'm all set. Thank you. So I would send folks off to their little workout and their little breakout groups, or I would, if it was virtual and only a couple people, I would just walk away and then listen from afar. When I called them back, and what we'll pretend for this evening is we had this giant workshop, and every one of you was a leader you were the reporter from your little group. I'm not going to put anybody on notice here and try and corner you, but if anybody would like to, I'm just going to get gallery view up here if I can.
So this is in
So
your
everybody. Yeah, now I can see everybody. That's good. Not that, I don't love to see you spotlighted, but it'll be easier if I can see everybody. So then I would ask each of the reporters from the little groups to offer their most important point. If anybody, again, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. If somebody has a thought, you can offer it up about how Tai Chi for memory works. Okay.
Repetition helps a lot. Yeah.
Somebody told me this was hard. I had to work my brain.
Okay. Okay, so
our group really appreciated the fact that you could have it as people were phasing in different phases of memory that we could begin to take away. So we really appreciated that block system of being able to pull away.
Okay, Kitty.
Our group really appreciated that it was also geared toward caregivers, because we know that caregivers are very stressed when dealing with someone with cognitive deficits and dementia.
Yes, definitely. That's one of those great things about this. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so we had 4 little groups there. And yes, repetition. So I would have those written on my flip chart. And my goal would be to see whether or not there was other things that might not have been covered. That would be then my responsibility to bring up. So repetition, as was brought up by group 1, is really important. And what that does is it helps create a habit. And the habits are some of those things that we don't forget. We don't need to worry about the technology behind it and what's going on in the brain, but practice is really good. And what the research shows, another important point, is the research shows that there is a positive relationship between physical activity and memory. And so getting some physical activity, especially an activity that requires a little bit of remembering, not just mindless following, but something that's a little bit more mindful that involves a little bit of remembering. So that's why we see the block system working so well. People will stay at the level that they need, that works for them. We would hope that the caregivers' involvement, caregivers was group 4's main point, caregivers' involvement is very important, since it's got to be very, very difficult for somebody who is visiting their loved one, whether they happen to be a friend or a relative, a paid caregiver, to go in and not be able to have a conversation with the person because they don't quite remember who they are, they don't quite remember what's going on. So having something you can do with them, no matter how simply, gives a common ground, gives a starting point for things. So the caregivers are enormously important in this. And the 2 people working together or in the class while things are going on, cultivating the chi. How are we cultivating our chi? We're breathing. We want to use the Dantian breathing. See if we can get our participants to think about expanding the lower abdomen and using the gentle contraction of the pelvic floor for exhaling. If that's not possible, if they don't understand, that's okay. What we want to have happen is we want people to breathe deeply. So if we can't get quite to the Dantian breathing, especially in the early days, we would use regular breathing. So we encourage regular.
Okay.
But can I just make a comment? I really appreciate Lorraine mentioned that about public. I have hesitation about that. It was pushed very strongly to me to make it official, and I keep feeling something's wrong. And you just tell me exactly what was wrong with it. Yeah, it's also patronizing.
She was scared of them. She was terrified of the idea of puppets.
Yeah, and that's good. Thank you. So that's good. So well, we got extra time because you're not doing osteoporosis. So did Ronnie have another idea? Go ahead.
I did have another idea. I thought we could do teaching Tai Chi for memory safely, because then everyone gets an opportunity who are updating to at least present something. Does that sound okay?
Sure, and Lorraine just already have 1 point. That's no puppets.
Okay, that would do it to her.
Yeah. Okay. You can get a bit stuck. So, you know, let's share together. That's the whole point of the MT and ST community, to share our ideas. Yeah.
Part of what I would do on this as well is I use the chat a lot. So in order to have them collect their ideas, I would now say, go ahead and tell me, what did you just take away from this section? Go ahead and put it in the chat. So that way everyone has a chance to do that reflection. I collect that and I put it in a Word document, and that is my reflection after the workshop that I send to them.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. And it's using technology fully as well. Yeah.
And I get to hear from people I normally wouldn't hear from, because the shy people won't speak up, but they will chat. And I did have one person that I'm too slow in typing. I said, can I type it for you? And that was one way. Or I said, can you send it in an email? I'll add it to our afterwards. And she did. So overcoming.
And if you look at group dynamic theories, everyone does need to be seen and heard to be part of the group, and that's so important. Yeah, that's lovely. How long have we got, Paul?
I don't know.
4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, up on the corner. Brilliant. And Paul's on mute, so we just see mouths moving. That's all right.
Sorry, I just said I didn't know, but yes, Megan's more up to date. The technology, yes, it's right in the corner. Let's have a report from Ronnie. Would you like to go again? Yes.
So our first presentation was fantastic. How does Tai Chi for memory work? And it was really interesting because she described if this was a stage 1 and stage 2 workshop, if this was a 2-day face-to-face workshop, if this is a Zoom workshop, and the different things she would do according to those different formats on how we're able to deliver the training. So I thought that was a real eye-opener, and you know how she divides groups changes according to what format she's using. She knew her content so well, and she had great organisation about how her overview would be, and then how she actually did the live section. That's really terrific. Lots of ideas were shared that I think we'll all take away from there. And then we actually only had 2 presentations in our group, and our second presentation was teaching the 4 Qigong, which was again a fabulous presentation. And she also talked about if this was stage 1 and stage 2 in real life, there's so many more things we need to think through because our delivery mechanism is changing. She had tips like when she's on Zoom, she likes everyone to be unmuted. I don't usually do that, so that's a lovely thing to reflect. Is that a useful thing or not a useful thing? She had a beautiful, warming, welcoming approach, and she actually picked herself up that, I would usually follow the stepwise progressive teaching method. So it was really lovely to see her own reflective learning as she was presenting to all of us. So it was a fabulous presentation, and then at the end we had some ideas to share. And I think it's so powerful as MTs and STs not to steal from each other's ideas, but it's a lovely open-hearted sharing of our ideas with our colleagues and with our friends. So terrific group. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. And I think sharing is such an important word. The great thing about Tai Chi and the Tai Chi community, but very much the nature of Tai Chi, is that the more you share, the more you gain. Unlike money, so different from money. Maybe it works too. The more you share, the more you gain. Certainly in what we're doing. So that's really nice. Pat.
Yeah, so my group was so good, and we talked about the first topic, how does Tai Chi for memory work, and had a really nice live presentation, well-organized instructor with a very relaxed attitude, and we thoroughly enjoyed the real-time time part, we just got pulled into being put into discussion and contributing back. It was nice. And then the second, well, I actually went a little bit out of order, but anyway, the second topic, osteoporosis safely, we also did. And after that, we reflected on, after all three of them, we reflected on personalities and how the personality and the manner of the trainer can be different, but it's all good, you know, and we do learn from each other because that trainer had special board made up to help support with graphics some information that he uses in the introduction, and then goes back to again with safety, linking safety back to our objectives for this training, because our objective, as we said yesterday, you know, he did us in real time, we want to train safe, effective instructors. So why? Let's look at safety, why, and from there went into how we would handle the safety, again with a very engaging brainstorming exercise, and then summing it up and getting back to the three takeaway messages, the three main points. And Qigong for beginners, and that gave us an opportunity to talk about the structure of Tai Chi for beginners, because you don't, when you're teaching the students, you wouldn't teach all of the Qigong together, you know, you would break it up. So it opened up some dialogue about that, and about which parts of it would you use stepwise progressive. And again, the instructor was very relaxed, thorough, confident, knew to just turn to show us the posture of yin and yang from the side, very automatically and at ease with that. So we all learned from each other, and a few of us commented that's the most valuable part of this training, that if there's anything that we would want to build in for next time, it's a little more time in the discussion to share in the feedback our ideas and what's working. And again, it's not that we're stealing, we're all trying to improve, and we can learn from each other's experience. So we had a great time with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, that's good. I'm very happy to hear about you like more time with the discussion. It is good to get to know each other. Also, mostly learning, putting our community together. That would not work if we're not working together. So on this note, I just want to have a special message for the senior trainer who joined in. I think it's really good to have you here, and it's good to know also you are here to see how things work in a way. What are the master trainer who work the workshop, what they think, how they work it out. And so when you are working with a master trainer, you can work in more collaboratively. And also, while there are people who just want to be a senior trainer, but we also I love to see more master trainers, because I think in a way it is very challenging, but it's also giving us opportunity as master trainers to train more instructors. So that's a multiplying factor. So going through this sort of training, being a senior trainer, do keep in mind that that's really helpful if you do want to become a master trainer. And I strongly encourage you to think about it that way. I think most of the master trainers have this mentality, as I do, that this is the world of plenty. There's no limitation. The world is so big. They need us. The more master trainer, the better. We just need the quality. We need the master trainer to have the quality. And part of that is what we're doing now, getting together, learning from each other, being open-minded. And that's how we improve our quality. Anyone can be a master trainer if you really want to. Yeah, so anybody like to add any more things? Ronnie, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Something we talked about in our groups, looking at the Tai Chi for Memory program, that the world's been through a global pandemic and there's a lot of people with long COVID, and apparently there are some cognitive changes sometimes with long COVID. So we're thinking that the Tai Chi for Memory program would be a terrific program because I think in Australia there's going to be a lot of funding available to work with people with long COVID, in the not too far distance. So that might be a really good program to bring to that population of people. So I think we sort of need to always check in as to what's going on around the world and which programs might actually start arising a little bit more.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Liana, raise your hands. You want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say I'm really grateful for this opportunity to work and really see what master trainers have to do. It's really enlightening. And going through the Tai Chi for Memory program, the neuroscientist caught my eye because I loved her brain model. But the fact that she worked at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, which is where my brother-in-law worked for many, many years in the anatomy department. He was the head of the anatomy department. I called him, found him at brunch with his sister-in-law, and I asked him about her, and he, oh yeah, I remember her very fondly, and thank you for reminding me about her. No, I didn't know she was part of the Tai Chi for Arthritis, the Tai Chi for Health program. And out of that, the sister-in-law that was there goes, the what program? And so I just wanted to mention that that's how easily some of this stuff spreads. And I said, tchi.org, go check it out. And the other thing was I wanted to mention that because you are such a good community builder, and the people in my community and all of you guys are great community builders. I've had so much help over the years from Becky and now Pat and Ernie and everybody that has come into contact with me, willing to help me. And so I actually am helping someone in my community. I've been helping her come and step up, and I'm encouraging her to become a senior trainer. And it's just through all the help that I've had that I know that this is important we all need to bring each other along, and that's how it grows. Thank you.
Thanks, Liana. And just in case somebody were not sure who she's talking about Lucy Brown, who's the neuroscientist. And if you haven't looked at Lucy Brown's website, you should. It's really amazing. For me, it's mind-opening. I always interested in how the body, the mind work. And her research was on where deep love is located. It's just amazing. So the website is called the anatomyoflove.com in one word. And also you can read her articles on our Institute's website, how the Tai Chi for Memory work. That's written by Ronnie, me, but I think she's the main person who did the writing, because that's what she does. She's a neuroscientist. Yeah. So that's amazing that that Liana was connected to her. Your brother was in the same university. That's amazing. The world is small.
My eye.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention, I'm sorry Hei's not here, but Hei is one of the reasons that we have such a good Tai Chi community too. Hei Takarabe. He's really encouraged us to work together to put on the workshops. And before him, of course, Stephanie Taylor. Yeah.
Well, actually, on the other side of the world, I heard that you were great help to facilitate workshop for Hei. I think he would not be able to do such good workshop without you, Liana. From what I heard.
I'm going to miss the first 2 days of our workshop because my daughter's graduating from Humboldt, and we didn't know that when we set the date, and I found out later, and so I'm only going to be there on Sunday, so it's going to be fun to see the rest of the team pick up the pieces.
Yes, great. Yeah, teach your workshop.
Thank you.
Great, fantastic. Was there any topic or anything you would like to mention before I have my list? Okay, you can always join me in comment and also add more. But the number one, we seem to talk a lot about Tai Chi for memory. And the acronym of that is TCM, right? TCM also have another meaning. That's traditional Chinese medicine. And I want you to know that I use traditional Chinese medicine. I do practice acupuncture as part of my Chinese traditional training. And of course, you know, I'm Western trained doctor, but I also have a fellowship in acupuncture, and I practice acupuncture for almost as long as I do Western medicine. And this is a very important acupuncture point for the brain. And we used to teach young people when they go for exams to massage the Feng Qi point to improve your memory and to improve your cognitive power, so you do better in exams, and also very relaxing. So I think it's a form of extra dimension to what we do. So in your feature of TCM, we might have mentioned that too, that we do use traditional Chinese medicine. In a way, it's more holistic and more natural created, because you know the Qi concept is the center concept of TCM, Chinese traditional medicine, and it's very closely related to martial arts, closely related to Tai Chi as well. So when I grew up in the village, I remember people always thought the village doctor, the Chinese village doctor, also is a martial artist, also practice Tai Chi, and also does Chinese medicine as well. It's interesting how there's a connection there. Oh, Megan.
So I had written you about one of my Tai Chi players, a weekly Tai Chi player, who was having difficulties with cancer. And I had asked, what would you recommend? And it was interesting to me, we're doing Young 40, and what we decided was I would ask him, what did he want? And it was Tai Chi for memory. Because he played with all the different kinds, and he said, I really like that idea of memory because of the brain fog from all the chemicals. And then he ended up with a stroke as well, and so he really liked that Tai Chi for memory, and his recovery has gone really quickly. I think because within just a couple of weeks he was back doing the Tai Chi with us, and that memory one gave him the confidence because it was so simple that he could continue on, even more so than the rehab.
Thank you. Great. Deborah?
My question is more with the Tai Chi memory blocks. Is there any of those, well, particularly the first one, the head one, where you hold it too long, or is there any concern about how many times you're holding it too long or too short, just based on where your participants are in their own memory concerns?
Not really. I don't have any worries too long or too short. Although it's nice to do in a multiple of 3, that kind of follow the Chinese traditional idea. But seriously, I think it's okay. 2 times is better than none, and 4 times is fine. No harm in doing extra. Yeah. The other thing I noticed is that one of the groups were talking about different programs suit different people, start from master trainers and instructors and participants. because you know different program, they're all for health, they're all easy and safe, but there is a tune. We talk about Tai Chi for memory a lot, and then we talk, what about Tai Chi for kids, Tai Chi for energy? You know, different master trainer would sort of go to that group of program or programs, and then it will attract different participants, which I think it's a great idea to, that is my vision of approaching and getting different people to join us in Tai Chi. So if you are interested in working on a program, well, it's in different levels, it's going to be much more easy to with Zoom and with stage 1 to in all levels of training to become that. There is the forum. I'm glad you came to the Zone 1, the forum. I actually look at what I say and what Pat said, and I thought Pat did a really great job, and I thought I could do better. So in Zone 2, I presented a little bit different. So when you all been Zone 1, so I don't think I won't have that recording of it, but I will record what I say in Zone 2, and plus Pat's, of course, and plus some of the questions. So when I send it to you, I hope you do have a look at it. Okay, and if while somebody thinking of any comments, let's do a photo. Becky, are you ready to take photos for everybody? This is really nice, you know, everybody fit in the frame beautifully. Just
I'm so grateful for everyone who came and for the senior trainers and instructors who came and lent their personalities and their voice. And it's just great to be with everyone again and to share. Thank you.
absolutely, I totally agree with that. It's really good to be together. Yeah, I think in person is great. Is of course always very different, but Zoom, well, have this advantage and disadvantage, and certainly if you want your hands look big, it's easier in Zoom.
Well, and we met our friends from the Netherlands now too, and we couldn't have met them, and that they're up in the middle of the night to be with us, so thank you for that.
Yeah, it's great. Now you can go visit Amsterdam and say hello to them. Try out the restaurant they taught me.
It was great to be with you guys. It was very warm and welcoming.
Yes.
It was a great first time to meet everyone on Zoom. and we hope to see you soon in 3D real time.
Yeah, definitely. I've loved that. Yeah. Deborah?
This is actually from our group. I really enjoyed and yesterday and today. But I was just thinking in terms of Tai Chi for Osteoporosis. Mark was the presenter for that. He was really very engaging and very fun, very funny. And I'm saying all this to say, I'm wondering if with Tai Chi for Osteoporosis, if you can be so funny that you have to be careful that your participants don't break something while they're laughing. So just being mindful of your presentation. We enjoyed it so much. I think Bill has that bug too. If you're doing osteoporosis, be mindful of the safety issue.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you know,
really great.
That's, Deborah, I know you're joking, but it also is a serious issue too. I used to have a patient that she just reached out and she fractured her ribs. And so where do we go? I remember Jeff used to do his form so little so that people wouldn't copy him. So there's a limit to how far and how far do we go. It can be quite difficult for me. I think sometimes, for example, 10 years ago, I try not to show pictures of me going low and kicking high, and now I have less restraint on that. So it's kind of difficult. In one way, when I'm 74 and I can go so low and kicking so high, it just shows to people you can have arthritis for 61 years and you can still do this with Tai Chi. On the other hand, if people copy me, definitely people with osteoporosis will break something if they're going to try as low as I am. So there's a limit. So I don't know. I don't have an absolute answer. The discretion is that we teach our safety precautions and we put emphasis on working within your comfort zone. So, and if you do show something that may have high risk, like if Mark's going to say something funny, I don't know whether he needs to say to everybody, if you think it's funny, if you're going to laugh, don't laugh too loud just in case it break your rib.
Yes, it needs a disclaimer. Great. But just have all the charming people, no osteoporosis for you. Which is everybody. Oh well.
Leanna.
Deborah's comment reminded me of, I've been really focusing on mind, body, spirit. And when I first learned Tai Chi, the lady that was in charge of the foundation, the Arthritis Foundation in Monterey area, said, I'm so excited that you're going to be teaching us about mind, body, spirit. Well, way back then, I didn't even know what she was talking about. But recently, I've had some graphic examples of what that means for people. And I take a lady for a walk, and she knows my family, and I happened to bring up that someone my husband knew had passed away in the night, and he was young from some kind of lung clot or something. And she just stopped. We're walking. She had to stop and talk to me for a little bit, because at that moment, because she'd lost her husband 7 years ago, she couldn't move forward until she expressed what she needed to express to me in that moment. And then we moved on. And we talked about that. We've been talking about it actually because of all the worldwide news that comes up, and she listens to it, and I'll show up one day and she's like, I'm just not feeling very well today. I don't think I can go out for a walk. And I ask her, well, what's going on? And then she'll share with me what has been disturbing her. So through working with her, I really find out how important that mind-body spirit connection is for being able to do anything in life. Yeah, thank you.
Well, let me share with you something that I used to teach my doctors. Before I retire, I've been teaching doctors in clinical practice. And one of the things I found very helpful, which can apply to Tai Chi instructors too, is that there's some psychologists who study people. It's sort of related to what Liana is saying. That is, when people come to a figure of authority, so a teacher is, an instructor is, and a friend people like is a figure of authority, and certainly a doctor is. So they come to you and they talk to you. It's so important to listen. And when you listen and when you accept them, when you see into them what they're trying to tell you, and you don't get shocked, and you don't get, you just feel, yes, I think I understand what you mean. that itself is very, very therapeutic. That just that people feel, there are a lot of things people feel ashamed, sad, desperate, whatever it is, when they have a friend or a figure of some authority who listen and didn't think it's weird, didn't think it's bad, and that is very, very therapeutic. And so what Liana did, listening to her friends, is incredibly powerful.
Dr. Lam, can I give a appreciation because you have given several programs to us to be able to reach people with that heart. So I want to thank you for that. And in the last couple of years, I know that it's that extra growth as well, that we can now help people from different abilities as well. So looking at the opportunity of reaching people virtually, on site, however that is, that's opened more doors for us to reach those friends that you're speaking of. And how do we stay positive for them and keep going and reaching people that need us? So thank you.
Thanks, Megan. That's beautiful. Yes, and that's what we need to do, stay positive and share positive. We've got no other choice. The world will work better for the future, for our kids, and for the world.
Thank you, Paul, for sharing your vulnerability with us. You know, the pandemic has brought up a lot of stuff. The war brings up stuff. And I think that, you know, whoever said that, you know, you are a leader, and by you showing your vulnerability, you inspire others as well to show their vulnerability. And I think that's how we actually meet heart to heart with others, is by we are all vulnerable as people, and that's what connection is about. And over today and yesterday, what I heard loud and clear from everybody was the joy of connection again. And I think it's, you know, that deep connection that we have. We have a love of Tai Chi, but we also are connected with each other. And so thank you for, because really you're the connecting point. You bring us all together. We wouldn't know each other except for you. So thank you so much, Paul. And it is really hard to sit with that pain and suffering, but I think it opens our hearts. So may it continue to open your heart and inspire you to keep doing your good work.
Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. Absolutely. I think of you guys when I feel vulnerable, when it brings me back to the communist days where I grew up, and I think of you, my friends, it gives me strength. Yeah. That's through Tai Chi, we're such a community that giving each other strength and positive feelings. So thanks for expressing that.